My name is Alicia Martinez. I have been a teacher for more than 25 years, almost 28 years. I'm 50 years old, so, well, it's been a lot. I have worked as an English and math teacher in elementary school, but recently I have worked in administrative positions such as being a school coordinator or a school principal. But today I have a new adventure because I'm gonna work as a teacher again. So I'm gonna be teaching eighth graders in my country in a private bilingual school, and I'm very happy to go back to the classroom.
My name is Revati. I'm studying 9th standard. I would like to ask a question.
Yes, sure. Thank you.
My question is, at what age do children begin formal schooling in Mexico?
Okay. Formally, we have three levels in basic education system. The first one is preschool. And in preschool, we have students start from the age of 3 years old. We have three grades in preschool, what we call preschool. So we have 3 years old in first grade, 4 years old in second grade, and 5 years old students in third grade. That is supposed to be the first contact with formal education. But let me tell you, here in Mexico, we have two systems within the whole education system. One of them is public education, and the other is private education. In private education, we sometimes have early childhood programs. So students start from a year old or something like that, or probably 10 months old. They start going to school to this nursery program. So it varies a little bit, but the formal one is preschool, starting at age 3.
Hello, ma'am. Good morning.
Hello.
My name is Shaganteja. I am an eighth grader from V.Z.P.H Penumaka. Ma'am, I would like to ask a question.
Yes, sure. Thank you.
What subjects are compulsory in Mexican schools?
Okay. First of all, let me tell you that our education system used to be a very traditional one some years ago. So we had the teacher talking and talking, and the students were quiet, just following instructions. That's the way it was. And we have been changing little by little, and we have moved forward to new methodologies. So nowadays, we don't talk about subjects anymore. We talk about this framework that has four major fields, which are called formative fields. And they are languages, knowledge and science thinking, ethics, nature and societies, and the human and the community. So, what we used to call subjects are now included in these four major areas. Still, as we continue learning, and this is a transitional period, we still have some subjects marked in our programs, but we try to follow this framework. So you would find in languages, you would find English, Spanish, arts, you would find French in some schools. In knowledge and scientific thinking, we would insert math, science, technology. The other field is ethics, nature, and societies, and there you will find social studies, history, geography, things like that. And the human in the community includes social emotional learning, wellness, physical education, motor skills, but we're trying not to separate subjects but integrate them all in these four big fields. Hello.
My name is Maheshwar. I am a ninth grader from V.P.H Penumaka. I would like to ask them,
Yes, thank you.
how do Mexican schools encourage culture diversity and bilingual education?
Okay. We first of all, there are some activities we perform to reinforce our own citizenship and love for our own country. We believe the first thing is to love your country, love your language. So we have many activities to reinforce this cultural awareness within our own country because we have several regions with different traditions. But remember, I told you we have two kinds of education. One of them is public and the other is private. In private schools, we usually have bilingual programs, and they include English and Spanish, most of them. Some of them insert another language, such as French, as I said before. And when we work in a private school and we teach English, we mostly use an immersion program. That means that we try to set the classroom in such a way that students feel they are living and experiencing the language because we're not native speakers. So we need to create this environment for them to learn English. This is within Spanish English bilingual education, learning English as a foreign or second language. But we also have these places in which people have their own native language. So probably being bilingual for them is speaking Spanish and speaking their own native language. But our effort is to create the environment to analyze the context and have them learn the language at school because we don't have the same opportunity at home. How do we reinforce it? Well, for example, as an English teacher, I include some holidays and some cultural traditions to teach my students and have them experience it at school. So I create this decoration and this environment for them to know what they do in other countries and create global citizens just as you. And we teach the holiday, we have them experience some activities or try some food, probably. And in that way, we work bilingualism, not only learning the language, but learning the culture within it.
Oh,
Hello.
I am Bhargav from ninth grade, GHS Penmaka. I would like a question.
Thank you. Yes.
How are students assessed and promoted to the next grade in Mexico?
Okay. Remember, I told you our education system was changing. We're trying to move forward to new methodologies. And long time before, we used to have these rigorous exams. So exams was the only way for assessing students. Nowadays, as we have been practicing these new active methodologies, we have a combination of a summative and formative assessment. That means that as a teacher, I would have my students take a test and get a number. They got 100, a 90, an 80. But the most important part is to observe my students and use other resources to evaluate them. So, according to the level of competence of these new methodologies in each school, we use different kind of evaluation processes. But what can I tell you is that we divide our school year in 3 periods. So evaluate each of these periods and then get an average in order to be promoted to the next grade. In public education, you need to get a 60 average to be promoted to the next grade. But in private education, we sometimes set a 70 over 100 to be promoted to the next grade. So criteria changes a little bit. But in general, we would say that, for example, in preschool, when you finish the 3 grades we set, then you are promoted to elementary. In elementary, we have 6 grades. After 6th grade, you are promoted to junior high, and junior high has 3 grades also. I mean, did I answer your question?
Yes, 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 yes. Alice, I am curious to ask a few supplementary questions regarding this. If a student doesn't score as per the requirement, so I mean, what steps should the teacher take in order to promote that student from the next player? Is there any special criteria to in this regard?
Okay, I'm gonna tell you one is a real thing, and the other is, I mean, one thing is what really happens in some classrooms, and the other is what we are trying to do, right? If we move to these active methodologies, we should be observing students all during the school year, and we should be addressing needs permanently. If we do so, no one, no one would have this difficulty to be promoted. So we as teachers are learning how to do that because long time before we used to say, "Oh, you failed. You are not promoted to next grade." But I can tell you that probably we started 10 years ago talking about not having these criteria anymore. No student left behind. So what we do is that we address needs, we probably adjust the program or adjust evaluation according to the student's needs. So no one is left behind. We don't have failing students nowadays.
Yeah, if you see, we don't test students' speaking skills, and we only test the students' writing skills. So some students they may not be able to listen to the teacher's lessons because he doesn't have that much vocab to understand, to comprehend the teacher's teaching. So we test only on the writing part. Oh, how about in Mexico?
Okay, in Mexico we have many different ways to address the bilingual programs. One of them is the typical EFL or ESL language learning, in which you have your English class with these skills. We have listening, speaking, writing, reading, plus a little bit of cultural aspects. I would add that component. And in these language classes, we focus only on the language itself. And students, yes, they are tested in the four skills. We follow procedures similar to the TOEFL procedures or probably the Cambridge assessment process, and students take standardized tests. We do. But there is another way to address the language. We have in many private schools this content based education. So we teach English through content. That means students have subjects such as mathematics, science, social studies in English. So they're not learning only the language, but learning all the competences within the language. So there we don't divide these skills, they are integrated in the whole. So there are two ways of working.
What is the age of retirement for public school teachers in Mexico? In India, 62 years are the is the age where teachers in public schools should get retired from their services. So how about in Mexico?
In Mexico, it's age 65. They retire when they are 65 years old. And there are some teachers who stay. I mean, they have this possibility to retire and stop teaching when they reach this age, but they decide to continue. That happens a lot.
If they happen to continue in their service, are they paid salaries and pension?
In public education, they do.
Mhm.
Private education is different.
Mhm.
Private education has some other different criteria, and you have to stop.
Okay. And if in case in public education, if your teacher wants to continue as long as he is healthy, then how about the younger generation? So younger people may lose the jobs if the seniors continue in their same jobs.
Yeah, that happened a lot. So the school board stated this teacher evaluation system in which some young teachers can access to new opportunities by taking some special exams. So
Mhm.
you can have probably a 60-year-old teacher with a 30 years old principal,
Mm.
because this young teacher was able to take these exams and got the highest average
Oh,
to become a principal.
okay, okay.
So they have been working on that.
Yes. How
Yes.
are teachers, especially in the public schools, get their knowledge updated from time to time? Do you have any special program to upskill their knowledge in their professions from time to time? In India, especially in my region, the teachers every month they have a professional day. I mean, the day is dedicated to discuss and maybe to get some resources from the other teachers. They join and they gather one place and they exchange their knowledge and they share different things about the teaching methodology or techniques or anything like that. Do you have such training sessions?
Yes, we have usually one whole week before we start the school year. Before we receive any parents or students, we have this whole week for professional development. And we set how we're going to work. And we update methodologies and whatever we need to update. Then we do have the same as you do. I mean, we have these monthly Pro D sessions. It's usually the last Friday of each month, and it's we're trying to build professional learning communities. We're on our way. I mean, we're not there yet, but we're trying to do this. What you mentioned, to have teachers share strategies, to share experiences, to help each other. And the school board sets certain alignments, certain topics to be addressed, but there is another time in which each school is free to talk about whatever need they have. But we do have these monthly sessions.
Okay. So, is there any monitoring system in your public schools? I mean, officials visit the schools and monitor the classes being taught by the teachers. And do you have any monitoring system from time to time so that teachers can, I mean, can teach their lessons with dedication and perfection? With the idea of their lessons being supervised by somebody. So it also develops their professionalism and their dedication as well. Do you have such a monitoring system in school level?
Yeah, in basic education, schools belong to what they call a zone, a school zone. And there is a supervisor who visits probably 8 schools. And he or she is in charge of visiting and assessing teachers and principals so they can all follow the guidelines. And there's classroom observation, there's teacher feedback, and also special professional development if needed. Yes, we do have those resources. But I think we're still changing this mindset to understand supervising doesn't mean something you have to fear of. I mean, we have to be open to reflective teaching, to learn from each other. And reflective teaching is a concept that comes from 1985, I think. It's 2026, and we still don't get used to it. But yes, we do have that system in which some supervisors visit schools. This is in public education. In private education, the school principal and the school coordinator is in charge of supervising permanently how teachers follow the programs and reach the goals, especially because parents are paying for a service. So we have this commitment that we should all have.
Okay, thank you so much, Alice, for your time, and we thoroughly enjoyed this particular session. And you're so cooperative, so patient enough to answer to all my questions. This is absolutely, this has been a great opportunity for my students. So before we end this session, could you please give a final message to my students and my teachers as well?
Wow, who am I to send you a message? I'm learning a lot from you. What I would say is to believe in yourselves. That's something I'm learning to do too. We are capable of many things. We are creative human beings. Sometimes we feel we're not. So every time you receive this thought, you immediately fight it and say, yes, I can. Believing in ourselves, I think, is the most wonderful gift we can have. And we have to love ourselves enough to know how special we are. That would be my message. And that way you will continue learning all life long.